Okay guys, I got another little video I'll just throw together here for you. This is yet another German type LEGO U boat. This is a VIIC type 7C U boat. This is another one I just built. It is just like the U571 model I did. This, I'm sure by now you probably will know, is the U96. I'm sure you guys are all aware what the U96 was, and that was the one from the movie Das Boot, but it actually was a real U-boat, and it was inspired by true events, but I'm not going to get into that. Basically, I put the whole thing together with some extra pieces of Legos I had from the last U-boat I did, and when I found out I had enough, I decided to put it together here. A couple things I did differently. Unlike the U571 which I built, I added decking to this one. Goes up to the deck gun around the conning tower there, all the way back, running all the way down to there. I didn't put as much detail into this one as I did the U571, but it looks pretty decent. All these extra wire parts and stuff were made out of styrene plastic, all the handrails and stuff. I just used some yarn for the wires and for the little insulators there, which are those black things. I made them with putty and glued them onto the wires and painted them black. Those are some styrene pieces there too. It's a mix of styrene and Legos. It's pretty well tacked up, but yeah. It's pretty much the same thing as U571. It's all the same idea and same design, just a different boat. Looking into the tower now. Got the hatch in there with the little steering wheel. That's a little steering wheel from a Lego kit. Using it as the hatch, the locking wheel on the hatch. The periscope there, which is actually somewhat raisable, but only just a little bit. I might improve that down the road, but for now it's alright. Kind of a static piece, I guess. The deck gun was made from just a handful of Lego parts. Just some random pieces. I actually took a brake wheel off one of my HO models that I don't use anymore to uses those adjusting wheels on the side of the deck gun there. It's got the stand there. That's just made a couple of random Lego pieces. I also took some more of that yarn, just as using for the electrical cables, and spiraled it around the barrel there of the gun for the gun cap to keep the water out of the gun. Basically, as you can see, it's pretty well beat up, and well, it's pretty understandable why. In the movie U571, the actual thing, it got pretty beat up. It was depth charged several times. It actually was sunk in its own pen when it arrived back at its base. It was actually sunk in its own pen by U.S. bombers. It's got that little piece there. I don't remember exactly what that is. It had something to do with radio equipment, I think, or detection, I don't remember. That's there, just like the real thing. It's a scale length. I used those Technic pieces with the holes where you snap little pieces in to connect things, and I just used a couple of those. Again, same thing, to simulate the vents. Here, once again, the problem with the part here is that it's too thick. It's really supposed to be thin, but I can't really do that, because if it was bigger I could probably use smaller angled slope pieces like that, but there is no way I could do that. So for now it's just a big thick piece there, but it serves the purpose. So you'll notice that looks a little rough. I had to use some thinner, smaller pieces on this side, while on this side I was able to use the big thick pieces. So it's a really big difference. I don't really like that side. If I ever get some more of those big tall angle pieces, I'll use those. got the tanks, I just tweaked the design of the tanks just a little bit different than the U571. I made the tanks a bit different design, making them a little more what's the word, sloped or angled like the real things. So yeah, you can kind of see that. It's got some more vents down there. It's all the way to the back. Get the back view here. Get a really good view. Looking all the way down to the conning tower there. Wires running along all the way up there. Took well over 200 Lego grill-like vent pieces. Those tiny little pieces there. I'm sure you guys are aware of what those are. It took well over 200 of those to completely make a realistic looking deck for this boat. But it really did a good job. It really looks good. And since the deck isn't completely covering, I added a couple flat, just completely flat filled pieces for some variation in the decking pattern. So that looks really good. I added the hatchback there again, and of course it's got the one up there. There really should be a hatchback in here, but I don't really like that idea, so I added that there, but that's completely fictional. But it looks really good. The hardest part really of this boat was actually the what they call the smiling sawfish, and I had to completely hand paint that. There are decals available of that particular emblem that a lot of the U-boats wore, but particularly the U96. I had to paint that by hand. It's looks really rough right now because that's basically a rough draft, because I didn't really want to spend extra time on the boat for now. I might come back in a couple of weeks or so and completely redo that and finish it up and make it a little cleaner and more accurate looking. The real thing on the real U96 was actually a green sawfish, but in the movie they used one that was kind of a blackish blue, so I used a blackish blue like color and I outlined it with some white. Just a little variation there. This whole thing looks really good. There's a little flat gun there. That's made of one Lego piece and some extra parts and pieces I had on hand for like adjustable things there. I added a little N scale brake wheel to the gun there, the adjusting wheel that rotate the gun or lift it or whatever. But yeah, there's the other emblem. That one's in a little. That one looks a little better than that one. So overall, it looks really good. The only difference between my U571 and the U96, the U96 is basically a static piece. It doesn't run very well. It's not waterproof at all right now. It's not floatable or anything, while the U571, which I built, which is exactly like this, is operating and can float on water and actually dive. It can go down pretty deep too, but for now the U96 is a static piece, and that's perfectly fine with me. So if I really wanted to, I could waterproof it, but for now I don't really have the time, and that takes quite a while to completely seal these things up, make them completely watertight so water doesn't get in. But that might be a little project in the future that I might do. But for now, it's just a static piece. But I'll keep working on it here and there, tweak things. Another small difference between the U571 and the U96 is I made the U96 a little more stronger. The U571 was made out of thinner brick pieces, which were easily breakable or you could easily crush in, while this one is made of really thick Lego pieces, so it's completely solid. I can squeeze it like that and it's completely solid in. So I think that looks really good. If you notice all those black markings, that is not camouflage, that is actually residue from the explosions from depth charges all over the U-boat. Because the real U96 was actually on one tour alone hit with I think 28 depth charges. Okay, just to finish up this video, this is the other side of the boat. Just some more damage to it. It looks really nice. The weathering came out amazing on this. There's a couple streaks of rust here and there. Just a couple. It's mostly black dust and like gunpowder residue just splattered on the side there of the boat. Another very special weathering technique I used is I scratched up the decking to make it look like it was shot up pretty good or something, like it was hit with bullets or might have gotten into a bombing situation or something. So I thought I would beat up the deck a bit to make it look a little more realistic. I just did that with a sharp hobby knife, scraped it up very lightly, but comes out with some really realistic looking effects, so I think that looks really nice. But there you have it. That would be the U96. There you go, guys.